Hello, everyone. Fran here. What makes an alcoholic return to the bottle after 6 years of being sober? What makes an addict continue to fall over and over again when they know that their life is in jeopardy and their addiction has caused so much suffering and heartache for not only themselves, but the people around them? My interview guest this week is Jane Musgrave. Jane battled alcoholism for many years before getting recovery. And when she did, she relapsed 3 times. She's written a book called Out of the Bottle: 4 Rehabs and a Recovery. Stay with me and we'll learn from Jane what happened with her and why she is now a counselor helping other addicts through recovery and beyond. Thanks for joining me on the Hopenning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hopenning. This is the place where hope is happening. I am so excited because today I have a guest from Brisbane, Australia, and her name is Jane Musgrave. Thank you for joining me, Jane.
Oh, thank you for having me, Fran. It's an honor to be here. I'm dressed to go to the beach and you're dressed for the snow, so thank you so much.
Yes, and there is snow outside, and I did have to shovel my driveway and my sidewalk, and the roads were icy. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Jane just came out with a brand new book. Jane, when was it published?
Okay, I published my book, My Journey Out of the Bottle, 4 Rehabs and a Recovery, on the 14th of October. So just shy of 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a memoir of my life. So pretty much goes over the last 40 years, but focuses on the last 11 years.
So when I read your book, I was thinking, this is a girl that would have been interesting to know. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, if I were to ask your closest high school friend when you were both in high school, what you were like, what would that closest friend say?
Crazy, crazy. Uh, Sort of didn't conform to the rules. Sort of always wanted to do my own thing and was always very rebellious.
Well, you've had quite a life, and the journey out of the bottle and 4 rehabs. We don't just end up in rehab. There's a process to it, right? I know you're younger than I am, and life happens. What was your home life like when you were a kid? What was it like for you? If you were crazy in high school, like your best friend would have said, what had been your home life before that?
My home life, to start with, it was fairly normal. Mum and dad, as myself, my older brother is 4 years older than me, and it was just a normal home life. Like they didn't drink much, well, not much at all. We had everything we could possibly want. We had cars and a boat and a beautiful house, but their relationship was fractured. Yeah, mum was always sort of leaving home and then she would come back. And this is, as long as I can remember. So I went to quite a few different schools. So, and then, we'd come back and move home, back home with dad. It could be a couple of years later and it would all happen again. So I think I just started getting rebellious then from changing schools, doing that, having to make new friends all the time. And so yeah, it was a lovely setting to be brought up in, but it wasn't stable. So I think that's where I'd started rebelling.
Um, the rehab was for alcoholism recovery, correct?
Hmm.
So when
Yeah,
did the drinking start?
it started when I was 15. So, mum dad had divorced, separated. She'd moved to Western Australia. They both were on the track to remarry. And, I had a group of friends and we'd go out Friday, Saturday nights and went to a party and someone said, oh, you should try this. And it was Bundaberg rum, which is very popular here in Australia. I had a taste, didn't like it, but the feeling it gave me was, oh, my cheeks are going numb and my lips, and I'm thinking, I like this feeling. And then it sort of, calmed me down. And I thought, hey, this is really good. So it became my drug of choice, I would say. So from that moment, I realized if I drink this, I'm going to feel better. It made me a happier person. I started socializing more with people because really, even though I was crazy and rebellious, I was so shy and I was really awkward, but this gave me confidence. So from that first moment, I was hooked. And then it grew from that. So situations I was in, workplaces, and the Aussie culture is knock off work, have a drink. And that was drummed into me since I was 15 years old. So that's where it began.
In your book, there's a real pattern. So you may have started drinking at 15 and the Aussie culture and all of that. But what happened? Like, why did you start to get so, and I won't say out of control, although you do, I think, several times in the book, right? I think you call it out of control. I won't say it, but where's that line between social drinking and then go home and do all the things that we would do at home to knowing it's out of control? I'll let you say it in your words.
Okay, my words. So the first, from my teenage years, really, we'd go out clubbing every night, and I put that in the book. And Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, that was really great. We'd go out, social drinking, dance, get pretty drunk, and wake up, go to work the next day. That was fantastic. And I think it started probably becoming a problem in my early 20s when we wouldn't go out, but I still needed a drink. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm sitting at home, but why do I want a drink? So I just fed the addiction, I suppose, and just started drinking at home. So it just became, into 7 nights a week, just drinking whether I went out or not. I felt my body needed it. And like I said, it just turned me into a different person. So I was happy, relaxed, carefree, not worrying about where I'm living or, what I'm going to do. Always had a stable job, which I'm very thankful for. So it just took the worries of the world away and gave me confidence to talk to people. So it would have been in the book I describe, I joined the Air Force at a loss, and that was a big drinking culture as well. So I'd say that was the turning point. And then when I met my husband to be, at that stage, he was a big drinker as well, and it just became part of our lifestyle. And by now, I knew I had a problem, but ignored it. I just thought it's just the way I cope. It's fine. It was the done thing. So it went on like that for years. Yes, I always knew I had a problem, but wasn't till very later in life that I did something about it.
What was the relationship like between yourself and your husband?
I describe it as volatile. We had nothing in common except alcohol. He was a compulsive gambler as well. And here in Queensland, gambling was pretty much banned, poker machines and that, but New South Wales wasn't. So he was brought up with it. I wasn't. But we met, he gambled, I drank, and we fed off each other. So we enabled each other, I would say. And he really charmed me, making me think, oh, it's the most special lady in the world and all of that, and made me feel really good. And I fell in love, madly in love. And so we continued drinking, gambling, and got married. Look, the relationship was, yeah, like I said, that's the only thing we had in common was alcohol. But we went off 20 years, had a beautiful son, which I'm so proud of. But it just got worse as time went on with the alcohol, and then because it was very abusive mentally. I always see the good in people, and I thought, okay, there's something wrong with him. What happened to you in your childhood to make you like this? I can fix you. I want to fix everyone. And I tried and tried for many, many years, and I just couldn't. And it was affecting my health, my son's health, mental health, and all of that. So in the end, I had to call it quits, and it took me a very long time to get out of. And what I hope to bring across in my book is how hard it is to leave an abusive relationship. Because a lot of people say, why don't you just leave? You can't, because you got to remember, I'm madly in love. I still love this man dearly and want to help. But you just get to that point, you can't. And to save yourself and other members of your family, you have to call it quits. So we did that, and unfortunately, he struggled and struggled and eventually took his own life, which is very, very sad for all of us. But we've moved on, and another reason for me pouring all this out, putting it on paper, is that doesn't have to happen. There is support out there, and you've got to be brave enough to reach out. So that's why I'm putting this down in the book, to show it's okay to tell everyone your deepest, darkest secrets within reason, to ask for help. So that relationship ended, and it wasn't until then that I realized, oh my God, I'm out of control. like I'm how am I ever going to get on in life if I'm still drinking like this? Like, I was drinking to blackout, drinking to going out and waking up the next morning. Like, how did I get home? And I'm raising a 13-year-old son. And I'm thinking, oh God, I can't do this. And that's when I reached out for help, picked up the phone, rang a helpline, and said, I'm having dark thoughts. I need help. And the next minute, I was in my first rehab.
So the first rehab did work for a while.
Yes.
You had wonderful adventures after that first rehab.
Mm.
You call yourself Gypsy Jane. In the book, you talk about all the wonderful adventures you had while sober.
Yes. Yes. So the first rehab I went to, it was in a private hospital here, and it's a 2-week program. So you actually go in and detox first. So the amount of alcohol I was drinking, so 2 bottles of wine a night, every night for 20 years constantly. And quite often on the weekend, I'd finish my 2 bottles of wine and go, oh, okay, let's just drink a bottle of vodka. So it was pretty hard. So they detox you on Valium, or diazepam, so you don't have seizures and psychosis, all that sort of thing. And it is, I call it the easy way out, because your body's calm. You feel you're in a fog, but you're not stressing and white knuckling because you want to drink. You're okay, and that goes on for 3 to 4 days. So once you've detoxed and you're not getting the shakes or anything, then the hard work starts. So they start doing all these programs on values, relationships, relationship with alcohol, cognitive behavior therapy, all of that, which pretty much all goes out the window when you walk out. But you sit there and you take it in. So when I left that one, I thought, I'm never going to drink again. So I was 47 then, and I thought, yeah, I've got this. I'm never going to drink again, because I had a fellow from AA come and speak, and I always thought it was religious, and I thought, oh, that's nonsense, not listening to you, and didn't take it on board. So anyway, so I went away, never going to drink again, and then because I wasn't drinking, I was saving a lot of money. So just think of, those 2 bottles of wine a night every day adds up. So I thought, right, I'm going to start traveling. So I had a cousin who lived in the UK, always wanted me to visit, went and visited her. Friends of mine were going to Thailand. They said, oh, we've got a spare ticket. Do you want to come? I said, sure, yeah, I'll come because I can afford it now. And yeah, did all that, turned 50, I'm still sober. And I thought, well, I'm not going to have a party because everyone's going to want to drink and get drunk. and I'm not paying for you to go and get drunk for my birthday. So I thought, I'm going to disappear. So I thought, oh, I've always wanted to go to Mexico. So went into a travel agent and walked in, said, Tony 50, I want to go to Mexico. What do you got? And she said, oh, how about a cruise from San Francisco and all of this? And so I said, that sounds really good. And then she gave me the price. And because I'm traveling solo, it was quite expensive. She said, is there anyone that could go with you? And I went, Mum, because my stepfather had passed away by this stage. He had cancer. So she's by herself. So I reckon, Mum, want to go on a cruise? She goes, where? I said, Mexico. She goes, yeah. So we did that, celebrated my 50th. Then I think it wasn't even a year later, found another trip I wanted to go there, and it was to the States. So it was Vegas, Wild West, up to Canada, and then a cruise to Alaska once again. Mum, do you want to come on a holiday? So, and I could afford to do this. But it was that last holiday that I thought, maybe I could have a drink. It's been 3 years. Surely I've got this under control. And the seed was planted. A step uncle of mine had passed away at a young age. And I thought, oh, I don't want to die without having another drink. And that just planted in my head, and my a stupid alcoholic brain took hold of it. And by the end of that trip, I was drinking. And within 6 months, I was full-blown alcoholic once again.
So, did the drinking get worse after you started to drink again? Worse
Yes,
than it was even before the first rehab?
yes. And unfortunately, every time you do this, it does. It gets worse and worse and worse because you
So,
need more.
how can that be? Why? What is it about the brain or the human body or our own emotional or mental health or spiritual health? What is it that, because of a 12-step program I have been in for 25 years, I know that the drinking gets worse after a prolonged episode of being sober?
Mm. It's like it's like maybe like a baby having candy for the first time.
Oh,
Like,
man.
oh, what's this substance? Oh my gosh, this is great. And it gives you that rush. The endorphins are released and you feel happy. And I thought, oh my God, I've missed that. Because when you are sober, it's hard work because you
Yeah.
can't drink like a normal person. I can't get home from work and have a glass of wine. I can't duck over to the pub when workmates are going. They say, oh, come on, let's have beer before we go home. I can't, because if I do, I know I can't stop. So every day you're struggling to not drink. So once you get that taste again and you go, oh God, I've missed this. This is so good. I'll be fine. And, start with having a little one couple of sips at night. And then I started drinking red wine because I don't like red wine. I thought, if I drink red wine, I won't drink as much. So, but still, it gets you drunk. But that's why you do it. I didn't drink for the taste. I drank to get drunk. And this was after the first rehab. I thought, no, I just want to just waste myself, just forget everything. I was having a good life. I mean, look at my travels. I don't know. I can't explain why. I thought I had to numb everything again, but it just did. And then it just got out of control. So one bottle a night turned into two to get that same feeling that you probably get when you have one glass, because your body gets immune to it. So as you go on, so if I jump forward to my last rehab, I was up to 3 bottles a night to get the same feeling that you'd get from that first bottle. So your body just craves it, and if you're strong enough, you can fight it in your head and say, "Don't pick up that glass." But at this stage, you got the other side of your brain going, "I don't care," and you do. I say it to people, and it's not a nice thing today, but to say, but you have a death wish. I did not care if I died. I was drinking myself to death. My doctor said, if you don't stop before you're 50, you will die. And I was like, don't care, don't care. And then one day I did care, thank God. But that's what your body and your brain, if you don't control it, it takes you away.
So you went to your second rehab, and was it the same building? Was it
Yes,
exactly the same?
it was the same company, same building, because I thought, well, this one worked for me the first time. I've tested the waters, tried to be a normal drinking person. I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to go back, do it again, detox, do all the mind training again, and then I'll have it. But it was COVID, it was different. So we were all confined to our rooms unless we're in a class or doing art therapy or something like that. So I didn't get to talk to the others because what I find is the more you talk to people the same as you, the more you relate and you talk about your stories and say, hey, well, how did you do it? How did you stop? How last time? And we didn't get that. So we were just in the classrooms, all our meals in our rooms. And the thing I noticed that changed when we did get to talk to the other people, they were frequent flyers. They're, oh, I was only here 3 months ago. Oh, for here last year. Because I was like really ashamed and I was horrified, said, I was here 6 years ago. And they're going, that long? And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? I was embarrassed, I was 6 years ago, they're 6 months ago. And I just thought, this is not good. Just the way of the world, no one cared. They were just there to dry out and then go back and do it again. Or they were there because they had overdosed and they woke up in the hospital and they're forced to go there. It's either go here or you're going to, we'll admit you to a psychiatric hospital. So I walked out of there just downhearted and I went to the pub soon as I left and I bought a bottle of champagne. It's like, and I said to my flatmate, because he picked me up, we went home, and I said, don't judge me. And I just drank the bottle of champagne. And he went, I would never judge you. But you
Yeah,
can see him just going, why?
yeah,
I think, yeah, it gave me no hope. I think, but I tried and I stayed sober for maybe 3 months. But what crept in this time, and I call it recovery fatigue. So you're so tired because you're not loading up with sugar. So wine is sugar, and you're not getting your happy endorphins and all of that. And I was struggling to work. Even though I was sober, it was affecting my work because I was just so tired, so depressed, and all of that. And I just thought, oh, what the hell? I can't do this. So I drank. And within another 3 months, I'm back up to 2 bottles of wine a night.
right.
And yeah.
And somewhere in this time, you had an online relationship. When I read the book, I think that certainly contributed to what happened as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. So I had an online relationship back in, it was when I first got sober the first time, and it was a romance scam. So I got
Yeah.
scammed. I mean, I felt amazing. I felt in love. I felt loved and all of this. But it turned into, oh, he needed money for this, money for that, and all of this. And, I'm thinking, oh, it's a scam. Not going to do it. And everyone's telling me, Jane, it's a scam. But I wanted to believe someone out there loved me. So I'm going, no, no, going to give him the benefit of the doubt. So I gave him the money, and next minute it's $40,000 I've lost, and I'm in debt already. And then I'm thinking it's a scam. And I go back through my journals because I journaled everything, and I've even written, pretty sure this is a scam. I'm going to end up bankrupt. Oh, well, at least he makes me feel good. It's like, see, and that was sober. And through all of that, I did not have the urge to drink at all. So I thought, this is something stupid you do when you're drunk. No, I did it sober. So, it turned out, yes, confirmed it was a scam. So I'm bankrupt. So I've had to go into a debt agreement because I could not afford to pay my bills. Like I was standing in Coles one day, $45 to my name, thinking, how am I going to feed myself and the cat? And bought some eggs, baked beans, and some cat food. And I thought, how did I do this again? I've let my life crumble. Now that debt agreement was for 5 years. I couldn't get a loan, couldn't get a credit card, anything. So that played on my mind heavily. So that contributed to when I started drinking again. So I thought, I've ruined my life already. So let's just keep going. Let's just keep ruining it. And then when my husband took his life, I wasn't drinking as well. And that didn't want to make me drink either. So there's so many things that I could have gone and had a drink, but I didn't. Major, major things in my life. But the stupid things make me have a drink. Like, oh, you can have one. It's their mind is a powerful tool. It's scary. It really is.
Powerful tool for the good or not.
Not exactly.
We can have a bucket. We can drop water into it and the bucket doesn't overflow. So your ex-husband's suicide and the online scam and just different drops in the bucket, but eventually that bucket will overflow and it might have felt like something super, super stupid that was the last drop, but the bucket just couldn't hold it anymore.
Yeah, so that just put me back onto full-time drinking. And then unfortunately, I let another man into my life that destroyed me. And once again, I saw the broken child in him. And I thought, I can help him. I can help give him a better life. You know, because I'm such an empath, and a lot of alcoholics are empaths, and that's how we get ourselves in trouble. And I thought I could help him, but he destroyed me. He turned out to be a devil in disguise, you know, the nicest person in front of me. But as soon as he left, keyboard warrior, you know, texting and saying all these horrible things to me. I'd blocked him so many times. And then I could see he was trying to contact me, and then I'd feel sorry for him. So I'd unblock him and I'd be, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. So I, of course, gave him the benefit of the doubt. And then that was my downfall. So he took me right back down to the bottom of the barrel, I call it, in self-esteem, self-loathing, hated myself again. And that's where I ended up my third rehab.
But your third rehab was definitely not similar to the first two.
Third one, I thought, okay, this isn't working. So how about I go to more of a lifestyle retreat that focuses on not only alcohol, but my well-being. I was a basket case. I was, I was a mess and I needed pampering. So I needed to be looked after. I found another one in the hinterland up near the Sunshine Coast, and it was reasonable. It was for what I wanted, a 4-week program was $30,000. I thought, oh, that's a lot, but that's what they cost. Like the ones I did in the private hospital were like $15,000 to $17,000 for 2 weeks. So I thought, okay, I'm going to pay for it myself, and surely that'll cure me because I've taken the money out of my superannuation, which is 401k for Americans, and whilst in there thinking, yep, this is going to be it. This is going to cure me. And I knew it would work on my mental health as well, because by now I'd realized there's a why. Why do I keep doing this? And I wanted to know why. Why do I let people into my life that destroy me? And I thought, I can't keep letting it happen because I will never stop drinking. So I wanted to find out why. So this one offered, 8 hours of one-on-one therapy and 80 hours of group therapy. So I thought, surely that's going to work. And it did. It took me back to my childhood and, all the dramas I spoke to about before, had a nice environment to grow up in, but very unstable. So it really took me back to that. And then came out to, you feel abandoned, Jane. So when someone shows you attention, you just think, oh my God, they think I'm worthy. And I just clutch onto it because I had that much self-loathing, and that taught me that's not right. You are a good person. You need to love yourself, and did inner child work, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous at the time. It's so hard. What would you say to yourself, Jane? I don't know. It's a lot of work. It's hard work, but I got to the root cause. The alcohol, look, I left there not drinking, but within 3 months I was drinking because unfortunately, the therapist they paired me with said to me, Jane, are you here to abstain or just cut down? And I'm like, I'm an alcoholic. I want to stop. So we got on that page. But at our last session, it was October when I finished, and she said to me, "Well, you could probably have a glass of champagne at Christmas lunch." And I'm like, I just, I just lost it. So that seed was planted. So what did I do at Christmas lunch? I didn't have a glass of champagne, but I went home Christmas night alone and drank a bottle. And then that was it again. Within 3 months, I was full on blown drinking.
And what year was this? Like COVID year, you were in your second rehab. So,
Yeah, so that was so this the last rehabs all happened really fast. So 2020 was the second, 2021 was the third,
okay.
2022 was the fourth.
Okay.
I was like I said in my book, out of control. I was spiraling, I was lost.
And you did have people in your life who had died from alcoholism. So
Yes.
if you had seen, and this is the sober mind thinking, if you have seen somebody die from alcoholism or drinking and driving or, the effects of alcoholic behavior, how do we keep thinking that we're not going to?
We all think we're different. I won't die. No, that's not me. I never drunk drove. That wasn't me. Even from a young, like teenager, if we were going out, someone always offered to drive, or if not, I would never offer to drive because I knew I couldn't have one drink. So I'd say, let's get a cab. Or if I was going out alone, I'd always get a taxi. This was not in my upbringing. You don't drink drive. And to be honest, back then, this was in the 1980s, there wasn't a big policing thing on it. I think they only just brought in the limit of 0.08, for the alcohol, which is quite a lot. If you're driving at 0.08, you shouldn't be. So, I thought, no, well, I'm not going to die in a car accident, so I'll be fine. And it wasn't until a bit later that, all these people they were overdosing or dying from alcohol. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute. What if I don't die but end up with kidney failure or on a dialysis machine? I thought, oh, that's not good because I support myself. I'm by myself. And I thought, I can't expect my son to look after me. And then that's what really started me heading towards the fourth rehab with a positive mind, like really starting to care whether I lived or died. So,
So in here somewhere, you took up race car driving.
oh, yes. Yeah, well, when I wasn't drinking, because I was saving money, I started buying, I thought I'm going to treat myself and get a luxury car. So I bought, I think it was 2020, I bought my first BMW. It was, from the used car lot. It was a sedan, but oh my gosh, it was luxurious because I've been driving a Toyota Hilux for 16 years, which was fantastic because, I was living at the beach, living, in central Queensland. So I did a lot of four-wheel driving. Now I was back in the city, felt like a queen driving around, you know, in my luxurious car. Probably a year later, so bought the car. Then I was back in rehab, then came out of rehab, and then I bought another car. So I traded it for a convertible because I'd always wanted a convertible. And as my mind do, I do things on the spur of the moment. So it's like, I want that car. Within 2 hours, I'd bought that car. So traded my other one, bought that car, and then I joined the BMW club and then got on to, because I'm trying to expand my group of people to stay off the alcohol. So I started socializing again without alcohol. So I've joined the BMW club and they have some, events on. You go to the skid pan and learn how to spin your car out of control, but control it. So, and it was like a new drug for me. I was hooked. This speed, this, craziness in the car. So there's a lady there asked me to, said, would you be interested in racing? And I said, absolutely. What, my car? She said, yeah. I went, oh, yeah. So she said, we need more ladies in the race team. So she asked me if I'd join the BMW race team. And yes, so signed up, got my licenses, and I was right in there and started racing my car. So that became my new addiction. The adrenaline is just insane. And it was like you're on a high and for days after it. So yes, as a substitute, I would say I started racing the car.
It's so interesting. Like the dopamine hit
Hmm.
would come from alcohol, or it would come from the love of your life, some man, or it would come from racing the car. 2023 was the fourth rehab, but it was the up, down. Alcohol is a depressant. So maybe even the high of driving, the adrenaline rush that you would get from the driving, if you were to take alcohol or drink alcohol, it would bring that down.
Absolutely,
Uh,
yes.
so it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Fourth rehab,
Mm.
what
Yes.
made you decide one more time to try
More
it?
time. Okay, so I got out of this relationship, the bad one I was in. So, I'd given him so many chances, and against my family's advice and wishes, I took him back again. And I think because I was still sober, I saw I started to see the flaws that they were talking about and the way he treated me and thinking, hang on, I don't deserve this. And it was a moment like that. And he was laying on the lounge and, he'd started drinking again. And I just said, get out, just get out. I can't do this. And so he did. It wasn't amicable. And, there's a lot of things in the background still going on. It wasn't easy. But I stood to my guns. I thought, I cannot take this man back. He has destroyed me. So, um, in my mind, it was an excuse to drink again. So even though I've got rid of him, I started drinking again. And at this time, I'm getting older. So, so 2022 was the last one, 8 years after my first one. So I'm 50, oh, no, 50, I'm 56 years old. And your body it's slowing down and it's not coping like it used to. So it's affecting my work. So the whole time, this whole career, I've had a professional job. I'm a supply chain professional and I've held that job. I've climbed from the bottom to, the top without anybody knowing how bad I was. So I've been really, really good at hiding this. I would assume, thought Jane loves a drink. Jane loves a good time. Did not know Jane was an alcoholic and that Jane can't control it. So it was starting to affect my work. I'd, headaches and just not performing, and random drug and alcohol testing was catching up with me. So I thought, if I fail, I'm going to lose my job. Lose my job, I lose everything. And that was a real kick up the bum. It was like, wow, you know what? The Okay, I'll lose my grandchildren, I'll lose my son, my daughter-in-law, but you know what? I'll lose my BMW. How stupid is my brain? My BMW, I can't lose that because it was my clutch of sobriety, that adrenaline from racing. I can't lose my car. So I made a phone call. I thought I've got to control this. And I know, my son and my daughter-in-law, they've been so supportive and I love them dearly, but I know they were getting fed up and they didn't have another one in. Like they just can't keep seeing me like this. It was hurting them. And I didn't realize until that last relationship and I saw how much it hurt them when I didn't listen. And I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? I started realizing the people I'm hurting around me. And so I thought, I just can't. And it was either that or I was going to go down the rabbit hole and take my life. And I did not want to do that, but it was a way out. So I thought, no, 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 no. Rang up a few rehabs. I thought, I just want to do a quick detox. I'll be fine. But no, you've got to commit for 28 days. And when I rang, they said, yeah, we can do this. We can help you. But it's AA based and NA based. And I went, oh, hang on a minute. What do you mean? She said, no, you've got to go to meetings every day. And I went, no, no, can't do that. Hang up. And then, something happened at work and it really hit me. I'm going to lose my life. I'm going to lose everything. So I rang them back up and I said, can you tell me a little bit more? And she said, look, AA it's not religion. It is, but you make it what you want it to be. So if you don't believe in God, believe in something. I said, so I can believe in like the ocean, because I love the ocean. It's always been the calming thing on me. She said, of course you can. I went, oh, okay, I think I can roll with this. And I said, look, I'm in really big trouble. Can I book in? So they said, yeah, we don't have a spot for 10 days. I went, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll work it out. So booked in, and because I was Air Force, so now a veteran, the Department of Veteran Affairs actually covers this one. So they would pay for it. So I thought, okay, that's good, because I could not afford to do another one myself. They pay for it. Okay, booked in. Then I got a phone call probably the next day. They said, look, we've got a spot opening the following Wednesday. Can you make it? I said, of course I can. So I arranged with my manager to have time off work again. So I've got to take 4 weeks out of my life and work to do this, which is not possible for everyone. So thank God I had an understanding manager, and it just, told everyone, yep, Jane's going away for 4 weeks. She's going on a big holiday, because no one knew. And I didn't want anyone to know. I was embarrassed. So I went into that rehab with the mindset of, if I don't get this right, I'm done. I can't go on. So I went in there knowing this was my last chance. And I attribute that, and it was pretty strict rehab as well, and the way they taught everything, to why I've succeeded. And I will never knowingly have another drink. I can never. So the worst mistake we could say is, I'm never going to drink again. You can't say that. And that puts too much pressure on your brain, and your brain will go. So I'll say, I'll never knowingly have another drink again. It's my intention to never have another drink again. And that's got me through. And that led me to write this book. Is all of these rehabs I've been to, every moment I walk out, I forget everything. So I want to tell it from my point of view, so people will relate and go, oh, I did that. Oh, I feel like that. Oh, that's me. I'm normal. So to make them not scared to say, I need help, not scared to admit, I think I'm drinking too much, because you're drinking too much now, it will lead to a problem later in life. So I want to give people the courage to just own it and ask for help, pretty much. But like I said, the mind is powerful. So going into that rehab, knowing I wouldn't come out if I fail, is the key.
So, what was it about the AA based program that helped you get sober and stay sober?
It was relating to people. It was because people would sit there, and because it's AA, it's anonymous. So we can talk about anything, and you are not allowed to repeat that. It's a safe place where you can say exactly how you're feeling in that very moment that you're sitting, when they said, would you like to share? And you'll be like, oh, yeah, and burst into tears. Or, I feel fantastic. Or, God, I'm having a shit day.
Yeah.
So you can say what's exactly on your mind, and we're, oh, I like this. I like it. And then hearing that other people have the same struggle as me, they're saying, God, I want to drink now. I'm thinking, oh my God, so do I. But so do they. Oh, so they're going through the same pain as I am. And it just, it connects you. So connecting with the people. And then they have the steps and everything, which is great. to go through it. It teaches you things about admitting you have a problem. That's the first step, realizing it's uncontrollable, you're out of control, all of that. And I thought, well, yeah, shit, I'm there. So that was easy. And then the second, third, fourth, and doing your inventory and who have you harmed and all of this. It was helpful, and I know that a lot of people they live by this every day, and thank God it's out there for people that do need it. But I tell you what, it set me up for success. So without it, I don't think I would have been as successful, and I wouldn't be sitting here as happy as I am today. So it gave me a good foundation, and especially alcohol's my drug of choice. They've got Narcotics Anonymous as well, and they both run similarly. And we'd attend both meetings, so it gave us a taste of both of them. And my 3 and a bit years sober now, and I'm still so close to some of those people. We talk weekly. I'm still connected to them. And I'm always here for anyone, who wants to just say, hey, Jane, I just want to vent. Okay, that's great. So it's just formed a good relationship. And there's one bit of my book where I'm on a cruise sober, and they have Alcoholics Anonymous meetings on the boat that they call Friends of Bill W. They put it in code in the schedule. So I went there, and there was three of us, and I was sitting there on this cruise ship, on the 10th deck, and thinking, how special are we? We're alcoholics, but look at us. I can go anywhere in the world, go to a meeting, and connect with people. You can't do that if you're not an alcoholic. So I think, in some strange way, those meetings are priceless.
I agree. 25 years in the 12-step program that I have been in, and everything about the 12-step program, I can't say more about, because it really does. It helps you to know yourself and then accept yourself as just another human being. I'm no better and I'm no worse. I am just me on a journey, and it helps to accept others as well. So I believe the 12-step program probably did save my
Mm.
life too. So,
Oh,
yeah, so those experiences that you had, Jane, set you up for writing the book. But
mhm.
you've also achieved a brand new certification, and you are now helping others with addictions.
Yes. Yes, yes. So so it's 2023, and I'm 3 months sober, doing all my meetings and everything, but I was still a lost soul, thinking, why am I here? Okay, I'm sober now, why am I here? So I went on a soul searching journey and moved to Tasmania, bottom of Australia, freezing cold, beautiful, beautiful place. But it was down there. I decided, I want to do some spiritual work. So, worked with some spiritual mentors to find out my purpose. And it all came down to, I'm here to help people like me. All right. How? I didn't know what to do. I knew because like when I speak at meetings, AA meetings, I know I engage people and they love it when I talk. And I thought, I want to do this. I want to go out and talk to people and, you know, make them feel better, make them feel that they're not alone. So I decided, okay, if I want to go and talk about alcohol and everything, I've lived it, but I better get the credibility behind me so I can do this confidently. So I enrolled in a course, a certificate on alcohol and other drugs, to become a support peer worker practitioner to work in rehabs and community centres. And it's a 12-month training course. And I enrolled, I was like, yeah, this would be great. Wow, did I not realise how involved it was? Wow, I learnt the law, the legal things, cultural safety, all about drugs, communication skills, interviewing, handling, volatile environments, because every customer or client that comes in is not going to be calm and collective. So how to handle that. So in October this year, I graduated and got my certificate so now I'm a certified alcohol and other drug worker practitioner. So I am going to start winding down in the role I'm doing now and starting to get into community work and all of that. And this book only came about a few months ago. And when I first started, it wasn't a memoir. I wanted to write a book on, tips and tricks and all of this. So I engaged a publisher, a mentor from Virginia in the States there, and he taught me how to write. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute, I can tell my story, but in a really positive way, put a bit of humor into it, but inspire people and show how I did it at the same time. And then 3 months later, because it just poured out of me, type, 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 type. And 3 months later, the book's launched. So I want this book to help people when they're struggling. I want them to pick it up and go, what did Jane do? How did Jane cope? Oh, gee, Jane's stupid like me, to say I am normal. I'm having a bad day, but so did she. So that's how it all came about. And as my spiritual mentor said, he says it's my soul aligning with my purpose. So this is my new trajectory in life.
Beautiful. And here I am in Canada already finding out about your book, which is, again, everything aligning as it should. And the people who watch my show as well, because my show reaches out to give hope for people. So, on your last message, Jane, we're almost finished time. What's the last message of hope you have in relation to addictions or alcoholism or what you went through? What's your last message of hope?
My last message is to never, ever, ever give up. Like if you relapse, okay, you've had a relapse. Don't say, okay, that's it for life. Don't ever, ever give up. It might take you 11 years like it took me, but you do get there eventually. And you are the only one who can do it. You have to do it for yourself and not anybody else. Then the rewards come.
They sure did, Jane. Like I just am in awe of everything you have accomplished and how you're helping the world now. And it's just beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And yeah, the feedback from my book already, 3 weeks out, it's insane. Like the people, like they're just coming up to me, giving me flowers. Like, Jane, you've given me hope. It's like, it blows me away. I got goosebumps. It's what I hoped for, and it's happening. So I'm just so grateful.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And how can we get a hold of you, Jane?
My journey out of the bottle for rehabs and recovery. Mostly on Amazon. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It'll come up under the Diary of Miss Jane because I post something every day. So and I hashtag this, hashtag. So what I do every day as well, I read bits from the book. So just 30 seconds. Yeah, so people can relate and hear how I tell it. So it's been really engaging. And I love doing it.
Yeah. And I can't thank you more for doing what you're doing because alcoholics are just people. They're not bad. They're not. Sometimes they end up doing bad things, but they're not bad. They're just a human. They're just a
Yes.
human on a journey. When we learn that about ourselves and about others, we really can change our mindset and develop a compassion and just rooting for others. I think the shared humanity in the world would be so much better off thinking we're all the same. We're all
Yes.
just people on a journey, and sometimes it's fun, and sometimes it is not fun, but we're all just trying the best we can.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jane.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been lovely. Great talking to you.
Great talking to you too. And for all of you that are new to our show, please subscribe. The button is just down there. It's a button that you just hit subscribe, and hope will come into your inbox every week. And you'll be helping me, you'll be helping Jane. Make a comment, put the like button on, and we'll be able to bring you more and more hope. So thank you, Jane.
Thank you so much. And everybody, there's always hope.
Bye-bye.
Mwah.
This podcast and inspired healing hypnotherapy do not provide medical advice. The information included here is not limited to text, graphics, images, or other material contained, and are for informational purposes only. No material in this podcast is intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment, and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this site.